So, Batman, is it true?
Is what true?
That Disney's gonna own DC?
Yeah, it is true.
So does that mean that Disney's gonna make a crossover between Marvel and DC?
I kinda doubt it, but I'm afraid it is true.
Imagine that crossover.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, 'tis I, multi-voice reviewer. I have many voices, but one opinion. And today, it's not a review I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a theory, folks. A crossover theory. And, kind of odd, though, that now Disney is going to own DC, so that means they're going to be working on, DC and Marvel crossover movies, all owned by Disney. That's just the weirdest thing I ever heard. But who knows? Anyway, folks, for this video, this is going to be a crossover theory, and this is a crossover that I'm going to be talking about will be none other than Star Trek Next Generation meets Stargate SG-1. Now, for those of you who don't know what Stargate SG-1 is, it was one of the most popular sci-fi series besides Star Trek and Star Wars. And a little bit of history. Stargate SG-1 started as a movie back in 1994, and also it started James Spader and Kurt Russell. And of course it has, there were military guys, member of the Air Force, who found a Stargate which pretty much creates a dimensional portal. It makes people go through time and space. And of course, what they ended up in is ancient Egypt! And of course, the bad guy behind all this, he goes by the name of Ra, was played by Jay Davidson. Jay Davidson? The same guy who was a peer in the Crying Games. Boy. Anyway, the movie got so popular enough that they made a TV series, except they were being recast. Colonel Jack O'Neill and Daniel Jackson, they've been recast by none other than Michael Shank and Richard Dean Anderson. Richard Dean Anderson. Guy who played MacGyver. I guess he must have been sick and tired playing a secret agent who uses household appliances as weapons, and now becomes a guy who travels through time and space and a member of the Air Force. And of course, the show got so popular that the series started from 1 to 10, and of course, they made a couple of TV movies like Mark Truth, Unpin. And they also did a few spin-offs like Stargate Atlantis, Stargate Universe, and Stargate Origins. Of course, throughout the show, there's a new bad guy who goes by the name of Apollotus. And you have Colonel Jack O'Neill in league, teaming up with other people, along with Daniel Jackson, and also have Major Samantha Carter, played by the lovely Amanda Tapping. And it was all led by General George Hamilton. I think that's how it's pronounced. Played by Dan S. Davis. then throughout their journey, they met a one of the alien bad guys named Hilk, who turns out to be a good guy and decided to join with them, played by Christopher Judge. And these alien species, they call themselves Gold, the Gould. And they look like these. And the reason why they look human is because they implant themselves inside of a person, right in the back of their spine to the back of their head, but they also have an opening on the stomach so the creature can come out. Imagine that. But how this crossover is going to go, it'll be a lot like this. First, it's going to start, you see the Starship Enterprise, and of course, Captain Picard going like, "This is Captain Philip Picard of the Starship Enterprise. Me and my crew have found a weird object on one of the planets that we explored. It was an uninhabitable planet. And of course, we try to examine this device. It looked a lot like a metal donut. And of course, it turns out that my crew member, Cody LaForge, Data, and Worf, are examining this device, which it turns out it's a Stargate. And then Captain John Picard, Riker, Deanna Counselor Troy, and also Dr. Crusher, they show up to see the Stargate, and it opened, and out comes our crew member. Our Stargate SG-1 team. And it's not often that you see Captain James D. Kirk, not Captain Kirk, what am I saying? Captain John Picard meet Colonel Jack O'Neill. He'll be like, "Who are you?" First, "Who are you, Captain?" "I'm Captain Philip Picard of the Starship Enterprise. May I ask, who are you?" "Colonel Jack O'Neill, Air Force, member of the Stargate SG-1. "Stargate?" And then Data, all of a sudden, figured out what it all is. "Of course, Captain. A long time ago, there was a group of Air Force people who found a device called a Stargate. And it turns out it's a dimensional portal. It takes people to different places, different dimensions, and also in different time periods." "So you're a member of the Air Force, right?" "Yeah, that's right, Captain. And thank you, pal man. I'm Lieutenant Commander Data. I'm an android." And of course, Daniel starts getting interested in Data, going like, "So you're an android?" "Of course. I'm a highly advanced android and a member of the Starship Enterprise." "So you don't have so you don't resemble anybody or copied by someone?" "I was created by my father." Great, the town train's showing up. The show must go on, right? Anyway, "I was created by my father, Dr. Sung. He was the one who created me and my brother, Lore." Which turns out that Lore was a bad person. Sorry about that, folks. It was getting too noisy, so I had to pause for a moment. Because of the train and, believe it or not, a helicopter flew by. 2 of them. Anyway, the show must go on. Now, I remember that that Data said that his father Sung, he mentioned about his brother and all. And then all of a sudden, Dr. Crusher showed up and tried to examine Major Carter. And Major Carter was like, "So you're a medical doctor, even in the future?" He's like, "Yes, I'm a ship's medic. I'm supposed to check on everything, both alien and human anatomy." And of course, Major Carter thought she was interesting, so Carter hang out with Crusher. At the same time, Worf looked at Eagle and said, "You look human. But what are you?" "I am Diggle. I used to be Bar, and once a Gould." "What is a Gould?" "My alien people were enslaved by these small little pods called a Gould. They try to enslave humanity and throughout the galaxy. Everybody can be worshipped as gods.
Why, that is something I would never accept at Leon.
So, you're an alien too, right?
Precisely. I am a Cleon, one of the greatest warriors from the Cleon Warrior Academy.
Interesting.
But tell me, were your people warriors?
Indeed. And of course, Teal and Worf starts getting interested in their way, and even Teagle starts teaching Worf his way of fighting skills, while Worf starts teaching the Klingon ways. Then all of a sudden, they get a red alert. Turns out that one of their helmsmen was ordering, Captain Picard, please show up to the bridge. We have an incoming, you're being hailed. And then Captain Picard showed up along with Captain O'Neill and his team. And they show up on the bridge, and it turns out it was the Gould home ship. And Captain Picard was like,
So, Colonel, do you know what those are?
yeah, they're the Gould. Kind of like what Teagle is, but unlike Teagle, those people are evil. They wanted to enslave the human race and have them worship them as gods.
Did they know that there was only more than one god?
Yeah, well, tell them that, and they'll probably turn you into one of them.
How so?
Milk, show them.
Well, as you can see,
And of course, kind of freaked out a bit, but Worf was like,
so that's what they look like.
and of course, Ato's staring at it, going like, fascinating. A worm-like creature inside your body. Do they control you? And Teal was like, I have my own free will, which I agreed along with my pod. So we're pretty much on the same agreement. But those over there, they want to be more demanding and more controlling. Trust me, they are very evil.
I think I know exactly what you mean, Teal'c, because I know exactly what it feels like.
You have been one of them?
I've been something similar to him, but not the same. I used to be a Borg, until my good friend Data helped me. On screen. We are being hailed, Captain. Listen, this is Captain Joe Picard of the Starship Enterprise. We don't want to cost you as a threat, but if you lower... We don't want to pose a threat to you.
And then all of a sudden, they get interrupted by saying,
We are the Gould. You people are nothing but vermins. You all will be enslaved and bow to us as your god.
and of course, Commander Riker is like, not much of a chatty people, aren't they? Not exactly peaceful, chatty people, aren't they? And of course, O'Neill says, trust me, they've been trying to control them since the Egyptian era. And of course, Riker was like, I always knew there was something evil about ancient Egypt. And of course, Data's like, how do you always expect there's something evil in ancient civilization? So, they decided to get onto our phasers, and they need to find a way to stop their ship because it turns out that their lasers and their phasers are not good enough. They have shield and everything. So, Captain O'Neill asks Captain Picard that they need to get inside the ship. And, of course, Captain Picard says,
There is one way you can do it. A teleporter.
and Captain O'Neill was like, your what?
Oh,
And then they showed them their teleporter, and he said,
this device can teleport you to any ship or any place you can ever imagine.
and of course, Jodie LaForge is behind the device, and of course, Colonel O'Neill says, beam me down, Scotty. And Joey LaForge says, you know, Montgomery Scott? And then all of a sudden, they got beamed. So Captain Picard, Worf, Data, and of course O'Neill, Tilg, and Daniel, they all beamed into the mothership. And they battled against a bunch of aliens, fighting their lasers and such, until they finally went to the main control. And the only thing they can do is destroy the device so it can never control it. And when they finally did that, that's when Captain Picard says,
Okay, beam us up. We're done.
While the main leader of the ship is going like,
They destroyed. Oh.
And then when Captain Picard and the rest of the team showed up, Captain Picard says,
Lock on phasers and fire.
And then they fire the torpedo, and the one of the mothership has been destroyed. And then that's when they decided to leave. So they cannot use the transporter because they don't know where their destination's at. So they have to go back to the Stargate. And Captain Picard is like,
Will I ever be seeing you again?
And Captain O'Neill says, maybe you can find us in the future. Who knows? But at least I see that at least Earth can know how to defend themselves against any alien threat. And of course, Daniel shake hands with Data. Teal'c bowed to Worf, and Worf give him the same. And of course, Carter and Dr. Crusher thanked each other for their help and all. And then they turned on the Stargate, and then off they go. And that is my crossover theory of Star Trek Next Generation meets Stargate SG-1. Now, sorry I was being a little brief. I mean, there's a lot I could say about Stargate SG-1, but I only got all the way to season... I think I'm at season 2, but close to season 3. And, you know, there's another sci-fi crossover I think they should do a comic book of. A comic book crossover of Farscape meets Stargate SG-1. Because I remember when I was a little kid, when I had the Sci-Fi Channel, they were doing like a back-to-back sci-fi series of Farscape and Stargate SG-1. Of course, the only reason why I discovered why they did that is because 2 of the cast members of Farscape ended up in Stargate SG-1. You know, since it's June 4th is coming up. Right now it's June 4th, so happy birthday to me. Can you believe I'm now 36? Man, I'm getting close to 40. You know, one thing I always love to have on my birthday? Volume 1 and 2 of Stargate Next Generation meets Doctor Who, Assimilate Square. That's one thing I like to have on my possession, because those are my 2 favorite sci-fi franchises. Anyway, those of you who enjoyed my crossover theory, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe. And I know it's June, but I have no Asian month for me to talk about. But there is a certain movie I've been requested a lot, but never had the chance to talk about it, is Max Magician. It's kinda independent movie, but all in all, it is pretty entertaining for a B-rated fantasy movie. So I've been asked to review it, so I'm going to do it next time. So, thank you for watching, guys.